Hello, everyone. A very good morning to one and all. So in today's session, we will be seeing a product called as a SharePoint Security Sync, which is a comprehensive solution for integrating a dynamic 365 CRM with the SharePoint along with the document management. And I'm your host, Jairaj Nadar. So in today's session, if you have any queries, any questions, you can put it in the chat window where I can able to answer all of your queries. So for your information, all lines will be muted. In case if you have any questions, any queries, you can use the chat window to put your queries. So while having the Q&A session, I will be answering all of your questions. So before I deep dive into the demonstration, so let me give you a short brief about Inogic. Inogic is one of the leading service provider and an independent ISV. We are also an exclusive Dynamic 365 CRM boutique shop that has been in the business for more than decades now. We also been active in the CRM community in which our blogs are very popular. As you can see on the screen, these are all the various productivity add-ons which Inogic has to offer. Among all, I would love to talk about some of the key flagship product of Inogic. Starting with Maplytics. Maplytics is a market-leading CFMD certified product which provide capabilities like visualizing CRM data on map, route optimization, smart appointment planner, territory management, and much more. And next, we will talk about the SharePoint Security Sync. And yes, in today's session, we will be deeply looking into this offerings, what all the features and the benefits this SharePoint Security Sync has to offer. So apart from this product development, Inogic is also an SI. We do provide an offshore development services by assisting our partners and the customers. So in case if you need any more information related to any of our productivity add-ons or service related, you can do reach out to us at crm@inogic.com. So this is the agenda for the today's session where we will be seeing how the productivity can be increased in the CRM using the document management application and what are the benefits, followed by live demonstration. And finally, we will be having a Q&A session. Let's begin the session with the challenges. So let's see what is the productivity, what needs to be done in order to increase the productivity. So the stats that you see on the screen, 23% time saved in managing the security access. So like in an organization, so managing the secured way of accessing the documents is where something is also a concern, that the stat that you say. And by implementing this document management application, you can save a 30 to 40% in your storage cost. So in today's dynamic CRM world, people are more concerned about their storage issues. So like since there are a lot of attachments are residing or hitting onto their daily basis into that system, so that is something hampering their CRM storage cost. So this is where the document management solution comes into the picture. And using that, once you have incorporated the document management solution, you can increase your productivity. So if you see 21% of document management, the productivity has been lost only because of the document management issue. So if the documents are not well organized, the users could not able to efficiently or fastly use the necessary documents in order to do the necessary things. So by incorporating this document management solution, what all the benefits you get is you can increase your users' productivity, automate your complex tasks, reduce the manual work, and thereby increasing the efficiency. Though Microsoft CRM is a sophisticated system, many users faces many challenges. Let's say there is limited dynamic disk space and the high storage cost. So that's what I was saying, like nowadays, in today's dynamic CRM world, the people are more concerned and worried about the storage. So since the additional storage cost from the Microsoft within the Dynamics CRM is too high, so that it is really a challenging task for them. And currently there is no provision where users can upload multiple files at a time. Where you can upload one file at a time, which is a time consuming task for the any users. And also the SharePoint has a limitations where it has a 50,000 items in a single document library, which has been not yet overcome with the out of the box functionality. And yes, there is no provision where it replicates the same CRM security model with the SharePoint. So this is where our product SharePoint Security Sync comes into the picture, which is a comprehensive solution for integrating a dynamic 365 CRM with the SharePoint along with the document management. Let's see what all the key features the SharePoint Security Sync has to offer. So the SharePoint Security Sync application is inclusive of our attached to Dynamics, which is a document management application. Like you can use it, the document management, and going one step ahead with the security concerns where you can implement this SharePoint Security Sync solution. Starting with the feature of metadata. In today's world, you may be heard a lot about this metadata, right? In SharePoint, the user needs to configure in the root entity for which they want to map the file that they has uploaded, which is really a complex task. So we have incorporated this metadata filtering within the Dynamics CRM in our attached to Dynamics. So while the demonstration, I will be more focusing on this part since we have recently added up the new features in our solution and move email body contents and the attachments. So when I say move email body content, so it means like the email body contains a rich text field as well, like rich text file, like a signature. If we could say the signature consumes a lot of storage space while sending and receiving emails. So that is something hampering the storage of an CRM. And not only the attachments, also the email body content has been migrated from the CRM to the respective cloud storage. Subfolder structure, so effortlessly replicates existing SharePoint folders and files, override the existing file with the new ones. And the security privileges. So the security privileges is what is within the attached to dynamic UI. So we have a UI, the beautiful UI called as attached to Dynamics, in which you can control the users, what all the actions they need to perform. Like whether you want the users to perform only upload, download email and not the delete. Yes, you can set that in the security privileges of the attached to Dynamics application. And you can seamlessly migrate the attachments and files from the email to the cloud storage where using our attached to dynamic UI and create multiple folders for activities. So like you have a multiple, you have a relationship related entities. Let's say a datum is the account entity and if having associated with the opportunities, and inside that you wanted to create another folder. So multiple folders of activities has been really possible. And yes, the user-friendly UI. So using our attached to dynamic UI, it supports of uploading a file size of up to 1.5 GB. So which is really easy for the any users. They can simply drag and drop the file onto the UI that gets uploaded to the SharePoint rather than it taking a time consuming task for any users to upload such a big file. So these are all some of the key features what the Inogic has to offer using the SharePoint Security Sync application. Let's see all of these key features in a live action. So let me switch to my CRM window. So yes, so for the webinar purpose, I have already pre-configured this SharePoint Security Sync, a model-driven application in one of my demo environment. And I have already pre-configured the things. So later down in the session, I will come to that, what all the prerequisites or the configuration that the one-time configuration that you need to do in order to perform the, in order to set up this SharePoint Security Sync applications. So So to talk about the SharePoint security sync, so which I said, it is inclusive of our attached to Dynamics, which is like if you wanted to use it, the document management as only the standalone application, that is also pretty much possible. But going a one step ahead, if you wanted to use the security aspect, so this is where the syncing privileges, syncing of a CRM security model along with the SharePoint comes into the picture. So now let's take a use case. So coming to the use cases of like the metadata features, which I was talking about. So I wanted to let you know how this metadata works within the attached to dynamic, within the CRM, within the Dynamics CRM, and within our application, how it works, which I wanted to highlight it over here. So let's take an example. The Anmol is the user of the who has been having an organization level access. And let's say if he is creating a new account. So once he has created an account, and so using our, so you may be aware, like using the document tab, you can upload one file at a time, which you can create a document location. However, we do have another way as well, like you can simply hit on this attach to dynamic button, that is our UI. And also that can be added as an iframe by simple customization of a small customization that you can do it at your end, and that can be added as an iframe within that particular record once you open the form. So here, if you see, this is the attached to dynamic UI, how it looks. So there are multiple operations that or multiple actions that users can able to perform. So like upload, download, rename, email copy, or create a folder. If I wanted to upload any files or the folders, what I can do is I can simply drag and drop a file onto this UI. The file gets immediately uploaded to the SharePoint. So let's say I can simply drag and drop a file onto this UI. There you see the file gets uploaded. Or also if I wanted to upload any folder, I can simply drag and drop a folder onto this UI as well. So even multiple files at a time you can upload, which saves the time of the users and increase the productivity. However, coming to that use cases, so now let's say this is the record in which the user is working and ensuring the challenges that let's assume the challenges the user is facing, that ensuring the approval process are consistently following by automating them based on the metadata. So like there is a organization in which the process has been set for ensuring the approvals are being consistently followed. There is no delays and inefficiencies. So using the metadata tagging, how it is can really categorize the content, and through automated approval workflow in a Power Automate can be implemented based on these tags. So configure this workflow to automatically route documents or request to appropriate individual for approval, ensure consistent execution. So now let's see how this, let me explain you how the metadata works over here. So now so over here, if you see, this is the file that we have uploaded. And if you see, there are the columns, the SharePoint security sync, the columns that you can see it within the UI over here, like modified name, team name, size. And if I show it in the SharePoint, I can see that the columns, modified name, themes may add a column. So that is something that has been added up. The metadata column has been taken care over here. Now, if suppose the user wants to add any custom column in the SharePoint, so if that the tagging wants to be done for the user within this UI itself, is that possible? So yes, let me show you how that tagging works in the real time by creating a custom column. So if I go on the SharePoint, and if I'm adding a new column. So now see, I've added a new column over here. That is the file size, the custom column. So what exactly the user can also incorporate the custom column capable of holding various types of information like the dates, numbers, yes or no options. This flexibility empowers the users to enrich their document with the crucial details. like they can do the filter on the UI, whatever they required. So over here, if I refresh that, I can see those metadata tagging. The user can do the custom the tagging as well within the attached to dynamic UI itself, if any custom tagging they requires. So over here, I need to check that. So since I've done it over here, let me do it in the account entity. I add a column. I add the file name, text column as a file size. Okay, that is something already exists over here. So if it is feasible, then I refresh this record. And once I hit on this attached to dynamic button, I should be able to see that custom columns to be reflected within this attached to dynamic UI. I think, oh, yes, it is in process. So let me add another column name, that is I've added another custom column, that is the document name over here. So now once I've created the custom columns within the SharePoint, the same should get replicated. I mean, that should get reflected in the within the attached to dynamic UI here as well. So if I click onto this attached to dynamic button, okay, so for some reason, I guess it is not yet reflecting it over here. Let me show you how the tagging works over here. In the real time, if a user wants to do any custom tagging against this particular record, I can click onto it. I can see the sales team is the team name which I wanted to show it. I can click on this. I've edited and I've saved. Now on the custom tagging, what we have done on the within the dynamic CRM using the attached to dynamic UI, the same get reflected in the SharePoint end as well. I go into the SharePoint. So there you see the team name, the sales team that got reflected over here. And also, if you want to do, if you may be thinking, what about the attributes if I wanted to map and if I wanted to migrate that? So that is also pretty much possible. For that, you just need to go to the entity configuration, and in the account entity, you just need to map the attributes, the field name and the SharePoint columns. So you just need to set the metadata preferences, and here you define, here you need to map that account name, select the SharePoint column that you wanted to map it. For that, let's say account name over here, and you just save it. So that will automatically get mapped, and you can see that in the SharePoint end as well, the same. So if suppose if I'm doing the real-time migration along with the document over here added over here, and based on the fields that we have mapped over here, that will get the metadata column will, the metadata will be carried over, and that you can see it in the SharePoint end as well. So this is how the metadata tagging features works in terms of how you can it really adds a value where when uploading a document through attached to dynamic UI, the user can indicate notes and amend the existing metadata column information using the real-time migration. That is, once you are adding a notes attachment, this ensures that all information are readily accessible to the for the users using the that attached using the dynamic CRM using through our attached to dynamic UI. So now let me show you how the real-time migration. Now, when attachments are adding into the system, so you may be thinking, what about if I'm adding an attachment over here? So this was the user who was already working on this record. I've added an attachment. So this attachment will get added up. So that is something consuming my CRM storage space. It's not. So if you're doing in a real time, So when I say real time, what exactly it stands and specifies that when any attachment that is been to the node added up into the CRM uh, through either a notes attachment, email attachment, so that gets migrated seamlessly to the respective cloud storage. So let's see how that works over here. And the link will be left in the body of the note. So on the same record, if the Anmol, who is the user who has added a record, who added a note entity over here, say like I'm adding I've added a notes attachment over here. So what exactly it should happen over here is the attachment will get migrated to the respective cloud storage and the link will be left in the body of the note. Let's check whether that's the case or not over here. So I have added a two attachments over here. The plugin and the workflow will be running in the background. So based on the entity configuration, in the entity configuration, I've set the attachment action as a move. So that means whenever a notes attachment has been added up or any email attachment that has been added up in a real time. So based on the configuration that you have set it, the attachment will get migrated to the respective cloud storage. So if I refresh it, for some reason the attachment has been not yet migrated. Let me add another attachment. So we will check one by one whether all of this attachment has got reflected in the SharePoint end or not. And the link will be left in the body of the node. You see this attachment got migrated. If I check in the SharePoint end, so there you see the attachment action, all of the attachment that we have added up in the notes attachment that got migrated. And the link has been left in the body of the note. And you see all of the files over here. So this is the real-time migration of a notes attachment from whenever a file has been added up as into the CRM. You may be thinking, what about my history of an attachment? How does that works? So yes, we do have a feature called as a bulk migration job. So when I say bulk migration, so you can migrate all of your history of an attachment from the CRM to the SharePoint along with the folder security. So let's say you have a concern, what about my folder security? Will that be well organized based on my requirement, how the folder structure should be created in the SharePoint? So yes, so your existing records can be get migrated. So you can either schedule this bulk migration job or also you can run the Windows tool. So this is the Windows tool that we do have. If you wanted to migrate all of your attachments, like history of an attachment from the CRM to the respective cloud storage. So these are all the entities for which are all the entity that if you wanted to perform the bulk migration, and the folder security. If you wanted to sync back the folder security from how long, like from when you wanted to synchronize the folder security, that will be applied. So that you need to do that. And that is what it exactly you can specify it, and you can see the attachment migration, whether you wanted to move the notes attachment, activities, sales literature, or the email body content. So it's up to the user's choice how they wanted to migrate the history of an attachment from the CRM to the respective cloud storage. So we usually recommend this Windows tool to get run using the in order to perform the historical migration of an attachments from the CRM to the respective cloud storage. So now you may be thinking like, I have seen the document management application from the perspective. What about like how the syncing aspects works? Like if my concern is that the files that I've uploaded, how does that been secure so that unauthorized users has been not accessing my records or based on the security role or the privileges that are given to the users? So yes, so coming to that point, I've logged in with the two different user. One is the Anmol, who is having the organization level access, and other user is the Lenny, who's been having a user level access. Let's say she's the salesperson of this organization. Now, let's assume the same record. Let's say the user who was working against this particular record is, for some reason, Anmol wants to share this record with the Lini, the other salesperson, not the other salesperson. So yes, the other salesperson. So what I can do is I can share to Lini. And over here, what permission that you are granting to the user is the very important part. So based on what permission that you are giving to the users, the same will get replicated in the CRM as well as into the SharePoint. Let's see whether that's the case or not. So I've given only the read-only permission over here. I'll click on share. So now this record has been shared to the other user, that is Lini over. So in all account, if I refresh that, this marketing for solution, that is record, will be shared to the Lini in the CRM, and the same should get replicated in the SharePoint. So I see that in the CRM, the marketing for Dynamics solution. And if I go into the SharePoint, let me refresh it. So there you see marketing for Dynamics solution. I open that, and there you see a pencil icon that indicates that read only. So that means the same security model, the CR, it synchronizes the same security model and privileges that has been given to the users in the CRM. The same will get replicated in the SharePoint. So that's how we have seen over here. The user cannot make any changes or modification against this particular record. Even if when a user is trying to do any changes, you will see a message. The document is only in the read-only mode, since the user has given only the read-only permission to that specific users. So this was one of the use cases which I was talking about, how the syncing aspects works. So this could be applicable in all of the conditions and all the scenarios, like user has been added to the team, removed from the team, added in the business unit, removed from the business unit, or associate record, dissociate, on all of these combinations. Yes, what privileges and the security roles given to the users in the CRM, the same will get replicated in the SharePoint. So this is how the syncing aspects works within the SharePoint security sync application. So this ensures that the unauthorized users cannot access the document, the confidential documents that are in the SharePoint. However, based on his permissions and based on his security role, what privileges and what security role that are given to the users, only those records which will be seen by the users in the CRM as well as same will get replicated in the SharePoint. And now, since we are uploading more documents, let's say within this particular folder, within this document library of account December 2024. So you may be thinking why I'm seeing like this, why the naming convention is like account December 2024. What's the reason? Why not the root account? So yes, so let me explain you that as well. So over here, you may be aware, as I was talking about, like SharePoint has a limitation of having 50,000 items in a single document library. Right? Yes. So over here for the account entity, we do have a feature called as a custom folder structure. So when I say custom folder structure, that means the user can able to create their own document library in the SharePoint. So when you see you can create your own document library, yes. So you can define the library structure based upon your requirement. Like you can define that create a library structure by period, by character, by custom. So when I say by period, that means by any you can set the period type as a monthly, quarterly, yearly, and the date format. So when I set this prior in the entity configuration for the account entity, that's the reason I see account December 2024. And inside that, all of my accounts that which I have created or the synchronized that has been over here, and inside that the file has been uploaded. So in this way, you can overcome the challenges of 50,000 items in a single document library. This could be more applicable in an organization, like if they wanted, like Jan to December, the one financial year to be in my one document library should get created, and inside that all of the records get updated. And for the next year, if you wanted to create another document library structure, and inside that you can upload that. So in this way, you see a well organized document library has been created. And from there, it is really easy and manageable for any users who wanted to access the document so that they can easily get the records or they get the files they want, so that it increases the efficiency and productivity of the users. So this is what the custom folder structure plays a major role within the application. So yes, so this is how the SharePoint Security Sync application works. Like you can manage all of your document using the attached dynamic UI within the dynamic CRM as well as into the respective cloud storage. And going a one step ahead with the security concern, you see how the syncing aspects works in terms of what permissions are given to the users in the CRM. The same will get replicated in this SharePoint and as well. And also the document, the folder structure. So the folder structure is where it overcomes the challenges of 50,000 items in a single document library. So now shortly you will receive a poll on the features that you like the most in the SharePoint Security Sync. So I would like to kindly cast your vote on the features that you like the most using within the SharePoint Security Sync. It seems like Kerry is the only participant over here. So Kerry, if you have any questions, you can please put it in the question window. So I hope, Kerry, you like the session. If you have any queries, in case comes to you later down, you can drop us an email at crm@inogic.com. So we will be happy to answer that. And if you have any specific requirement regarding the security sync, like how the syncing aspects works, or if you have any particular use cases, you can share us or you can let us know where we can have a one-to-one demo session particular to your use cases. So if no more questions, then yes, then that would be, we consider that as like we can wind up this session if no more questions from any of the attendees so far. So yes, so I really appreciate your time, Kerry. Thanks for joining the session. So I hope you loved it, and yes, look forward to the next session with any exciting new features within the application. Yeah, have a great day. Thank you.